a question I have had on my mind for a while that I want answers to. Why film? Why this? There's no denying that film lost popularity for about a decade and that it's made a comeback. And this question came up not too long ago as I was exploring this for myself, trying to figure out, well, why am I interested in film and why am I seeing other people interested in it as well? So I've spent time looking for answers to this question, and I have come to the conclusion that you, yes you, anyone who's watching this of any age, should take photos on film at least once in their life. And I have come up with 5 compelling reasons as to why, and I'm going to tell you these reasons. This is Ekla Surf Film. Let's get started. So before I get into the 5 reasons, I want you to know that the information I gathered is compiled from 3 different areas. One area is research and observation from both film photographers and people who aren't film photographers. The second area is pulling information from friends who are fellow film photographers and their experiences. And then the third area is from myself and my own experiences. So references to all of these areas that I'm talking about will be provided in the description below with both links and quotes if you choose to explore these areas further. So let's get into the first reason. All right, reason number 5, step into the past. Film is the OG of photographic recording. Seriously, it's older than anyone who's watching this video. It was invented in the 1800s, and it has evolved through the decades, including the cameras to go along with it. It would be rare to find film from the 1800s or early 1900s, but the cameras have been made well, and they've been built to last. Several cameras that film photographers use today can be anywhere from 50 to 100 years old. But regardless of how old the camera is that you're using or whether you're using an expired roll of film, when you're taking photos on film, you are capturing moments and memories in a vintage and authentic method. So you're naturally just stepping into the past by using film as a way to record these memories and to take photos. Reason number 4. Younger generations are taking an interest and community connection. This reason really has 2 in 1 because they go hand in hand. And just as a disclaimer, I am not excluding anyone from this reason who was born before 1990. But it is really important and interesting to note that the majority of people who are bringing film back into demand are people who are between the ages of 18 and 30 years old. If you were born after the year 2000, you are considered a digital native, meaning you only know digital. That's what you were raised on. If you're someone who was born before the year 2000, like me, you were considered a digital immigrant. People who were first raised using film, but then digital came on afterwards. If you are a digital native, it's likely that you've never taken photos using film, but what the research is showing is that people who grew up never using film or even knowing what it was are the ones who are bringing it back into popularity. And if you are someone who's interested in exploring film, there's a wonderful sense of community of people out there, just like yourself, who are interested in using film as a creative outlet. And this is what brings me to my second reason, which is the community connection. There are several young people who are looking into film, and you're not the only one who are interested in trying this. And if you use film and you decide to start picking up on it long term, there is an even bigger community of people out there of all ages who have a desire and a passion to keep film alive. And when you join that community, it's inevitable that you're going to learn from them and pull experiences from them and develop into this much larger community than just people from 18 to 30 years old. Reason number 3, the freedom to be creative and be unique. Film has very few limitations when it comes to creativity. From taking single exposure shots to doubling or tripling the exposure, pushing or pulling the ISO, creating a film soup, taking photos on black and white versus color negative, shooting on expired film. The creativity seems endless, but you don't have to take multiple exposures or push or pull the ISO to be creative. The real creativity starts when you are taking the actual photo. You can shoot from different angles, or you could play with lighting. There's so many different things you can do. You don't really have to fit into a set of rules whenever you're shooting on film. That's where the creativity can really flow. However, there is one area that the creativity does have a bit of a limitation that you need to be mindful of in this next reason. Reason number 2, the beauty of film. While you have the freedom to be creative with film, just keep in mind that your attempts are limited. Depending on the type of film format you use, you have anywhere from 6 to 36 shots to get that image that you're looking for. This is a beautiful thing about film though. One of the most common bits of feedback that I've heard from other film photographers, and myself included, is the gentle way that film forces you to slow down and be intentional. Film forces mindfulness, patience, and intention. When you are shooting on film, you have to commit to that image, because there's no SD card to erase that image after you've taken it. Another beautiful thing about film that ties into being mindful and having patience is what it does to the photographer's brain. So while the photographer is taking photos and moving from object or person, they're in this state of flow that naturally will cause them to take a deep breath and relax and just be mindful and patient and being committed to the photo versus just clicking away. Film has also been described as having a sort of authenticity to it, a type of truth, because the film is literally something you can hold. The image is something that you can hold. It's tactile, you can feel it. And the image is being imprinted on the negative. So this is where the image ends up. It's not like it's being imprinted on something automatically digital. One of the other things that I really find beautiful about film that I enjoy, and I've heard as feedback from other people, is the tactile experience that film gives while shooting. So not only can you feel the film in your hand where the image is ending up, but the process of whenever you're taking the photo, just the sound it makes when you're pressing the shutter and pulling that advance lever, or like my camera, my other film camera that's a little more advanced when it comes to the sound. And I'm gonna get a picture just so you can hear the power winder function on this. But I absolutely love taking a photo and just honing in on what I want, and then just like that sound, that click, I absolutely love it. And the last beautiful thing that I find about film is also connecting back to the brain. And the fact that film delays gratification. We live in a society where we are trained to want instant gratification. You want Chick-fil-A. So you pull up the app on your phone, type it in, and then you go get Chick-fil-A. They could deliver it to you. right? So it's like we're living in a state of instant gratification, but with film, you don't get that gratification. You cannot see the image as soon as you took it. You have to wait until it gets processed. And there is this sense of excitement that film brings after you've taken a roll full of images and you're just really excited to see how they turn out. There's this anticipation, this patient anticipation you have to wait for that film to get processed until you can see those images. And reason number 1, disconnect. I chose this as the most important reason because we are living in a time where we are always connected. There is never a moment throughout the day when my phone isn't within just a few feet from my reach. I'm even connected when I sleep because of the alarm that I set on my phone, and I rely on it to wake me up in the morning. So it's like we're always connected. We're always connected to that next text message, that next notification or email or phone call. It's like we're always on this grid. But the thing with film is you're not going to be connected. Your camera, your film camera, does not have a built-in Bluetooth system or a hotspot for Wi-Fi where you can get your email. And one of the things that I absolutely love about film, and that I've heard other people talk about as well, is that moment to just disconnect. So like when I'm taking photos, I'll put my phone away. I'll leave it in my camera bag, or I'll set it, leave it in my vehicle, or just something where it's not gone, but it's not connected to me, right? And I just take a step away and I take my film camera and I'm just walking around and shooting images and creating and not really paying attention to my phone, not paying attention to the next text message that I get or phone call. It's just a moment for me to just disconnect. And this is something that I believe is very important that everyone does, because living in this constant state of connection, it's like we're always trying to just stay on top of what's the next thing that we have going on, or what's that next task that we have to do. And this also kind of goes back to reason number 2 about that state of slowing down and being patient and just taking some time for yourself and relaxing and having some mindfulness. It's good to just shut off your brain for a little bit and focus on one thing. And this is what film does. It creates this hyper focus where you're totally honed in on what you're shooting and what you're paying attention to as far as the object or the model that you're shooting. And it allows you to just kind of turn off your brain and be in a state where you're just kind of flowing and you're disconnecting. I hope you enjoyed listening to these 5 reasons about why film is something that everyone should try at least once in their life. And really, I do challenge you to try it if you've never done it before. You could use this as an opportunity for a date, maybe with friends or someone you're trying to get to know. Maybe you could do this with a parent or a grandparent who used to take photos only on film. Maybe you could just take your film camera with them and go out and get some pictures. Make sure you check out my next video where I will talk about the different types of film you can purchase, disposable film cameras, affordable cameras that you can find online, and the developing process, as well as the scanning process. So please stay tuned for my next video. And if you haven't already done so, please click that like button, hit subscribe, so you can stay tuned on all the content I put out regarding everything film photography. This is Ekla Surf Film. Thank you for watching.